morning, Miss Class. My name is Miss Lanes. Today we're going to learn area model multiplication. So here we have an example, 24 times 56. The first step is to break the numbers into expanded notation. So depending on how many numbers we have is how many rows and columns we're going to make for the box. For example, in here we have 24. So expanded notation would be 20 plus 4. And we write it down right over here. And the second number is 56. So we do 50 plus 6, which is written down on this side. And then the first step is going to be to multiply the places, the tens place in the first number times the tens place in the second number. So we did 20 times 50 equals 1,000. And you write down the answer in this first box right here. The second step would be to multiply the ones place in the first number times the tens place in the second number. So we do 50 times 4, which is 200. Then we're going to multiply the tens place in the first number by the ones place in the second number. So we do 6 times 20 equals 120. Then our next step is going to be multiplying the ones place in the second number times the ones place in the first number. So we do 6 times 4 equals 24. And don't forget to write down your answers in each box. So our last step is going to be to add everything together, everything that's in the boxes. So we do 1,000 plus 200 plus 120 plus 24. And that's going to be our answer, which is 1,344. Now we're going to work on some practice problems. Okay, so our first problem, is gonna be finding the product of 61 times 37. So we do our box first, and then we have to do the expanded notation. So for the first number, we have 61, which is gonna be 60 plus 1, and then our second number is 37, which we're gonna do 30 plus 7. So then we're gonna work that out. We're gonna do 60 times 30, which is 1,800. And then we do 30 times 1, which is 30. Then we're gonna do 60 times 7, which is 420. And then we do 7 times 1, which is 7. And now we're gonna add it all up. 1,800 plus 420 plus 30 plus 7, which equals to 2,257. And that's going to be our final answer. For problem number 2, we have 71 times 31. So we do our box method first, and then we do the expanded notation. So our first number is 71, and now we're going to put it 70 plus 1, and then our second number is 31, so we do 30 plus 1 on this side, and now we have to multiply. So we multiply 70 times 30 equals 2,100, and then we do 30 times 1, which is 30, then we do 70 times 1, which is 70, and then our last one is 1 times 1, which is 1. So now we have to add everything together. We do 2,100 plus 70 plus 30 plus 1, which is 2,201. And that's going to be our final answer. And then for our last practice problem, which is 55 times 49, we do the same thing. You can do the box first. And then you do the expanded notation. So the first number is going to be 55. So we do 50 plus 5, and then our second number, which is 49. So we do 40 plus 9, and now you have to multiply. You do 50 times 40, which is 2,000, and then we do 40 times 5, which is 200. And then over here, we're going to do 50 times 9, 450, and then we do 9 times 5, which is 45. Now we have to add it all together. So we do 2,000 plus 450 plus 200 plus 45, which equals to 2,695. And that's our final answer. Does anyone have any questions? No? Okay. Now I'm going to give you some problems to work on by yourself. Okay, here are your problems. So we have our first problem, which is 46 times 78. And then we have 20 times 31. And our last problem is 89 times 56. So I'm going to give you about 15 minutes to work on this by yourself. And then we're going to go ahead and work on it together. Okay, class, it's been 15 minutes. Let's go ahead and work on this practice problem together and see how we did. So remember, our first step is to do our box. So here we have our box, and then we have to do expanded notation. So we have our first number here is 46. So then we do 40 plus 6 on this side. And our second number is 78. So we do 70 plus 8 on this side. And now we can multiply it. So our first multiplication is 70 times 40, which equals to 2,800. And then we have 70 times 6, which equals to 420. Then we have 80 times 40 over here on this side, which equals to 320. And then we have 8 times 6 on this side, which equals to 48. And now we can add all of these together. So we have 2,800 plus 420 plus 320 plus 48. And that's going to be 3,588. And it's going to be our final answer. Then the next one, we have 20 times 30. So let's do our box first. And then we have to do the expanded notation. So our first number is 20. So for that, we do 20 right there. And then our ones is just a 0. So for that, we're just going to leave it as a 0. So 0 on this side. And then our second number, we have 31, which is 30 plus 1. And now we're going to work it out. So our first problem, 20 times 30 equals 600. And then we have 30 times 0 equals 0. Then we have 20 times 1 equals 20. And 1 times 0, which equals 0. So now we have to add it all together. 600 plus 20. And then if you want, you can add the zeros, but you don't have to since they don't, it's like if they don't exist. So you can just go ahead and add all of this up. And it's going to be 620. And that's your final answer. Then our last practice problem, we're gonna do 89 times 56. So let's do our box method. And we're gonna do our first number, which is 89. So we do 80 over here, plus 9. And our second number, 56. So we do 50, plus 6. And now we have to multiply. So 80 times 50 equals 4,000. And then we do 50 times 9, which is 450. Then we do 80 times 6, 480. And the last one, 6 times 9, which is 54. And now we have to add it all together. So we have 4,000 plus 480 plus 450 plus 54. And that's going to be 4,984. And that's your final answer. So I'm going to give you some homework to do so we can go over it tomorrow. So class, today we learned the area model multiplication, and if you have any more questions, you can just ask me. Either way, tomorrow we're going to go over the homework and we can review this all over again.